Sometimes in life, procrastination actually benefits you. As I procrastinated on a Rams video today, the Rams, as I am speaking, have officially made a deal with free agent Devante Adams. They have officially signed Devante Adams to a 2-year contract. Mind-blowing breaking news here on the Rams Digest. We'll talk all about it. We're also going to discuss, I kind of had to scrap my whole video, but we'll discuss at least one other news piece as we'll talk about a former Rams player returning to the Rams on the defensive side of the ball. But right now, we're all about Devante Adams to the Rams on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Hidon. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, press that subscribe button now, as 68.9% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not subscribed to the channel. Do me a favor, press that subscribe button now so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. First things first, can we talk about anything else, right? The Los Angeles Rams, breaking news. Sorry, I had to cut this in here. Breaking news. The Rams officially signed Devante Adams. It's a 2-year contract, according to Adam Schefter, 6-time Pro Bowl receiver, by the way, might I add, is signing a 2-year deal with Los Angeles Rams. Adams arrives at a time when the Rams are preparing to move on from a standout receiver, Cooper Kupp. Devante Adams' deal with the Rams is for 2 years, $46 million, and includes $26 million guaranteed. So, just looking at the guaranteed money specifically, you're talking about 2 years, $13 million per year roughly. We're talking about just guaranteed money, but I'm sure the entire contract with a lot of the incentives, if he plays, all that good stuff, and certain numbers he hits will reach up to, I'm sure, even higher than $46 million. But right now, the Rams have gone out, been aggressive, right? You bring in Matthew Stafford. We knew that was happening. I said, why not just keep Cooper Kupp? Well, maybe this is why not. Maybe the Rams, Snead, the front office, knew that once they saw how things ended in New York with the Jets, how Aaron Rodgers was going to move on from New York and move on from the Jets. Maybe they had in mind to bring Aaron Rodgers if Matthew Stafford decided to move on, but ultimately they kept their eye on Devante Adams. Very, very early in free agency, right? It feels like it hadn't really opened up in free agency. A couple guys are re-signing with their teams, but Devante Adams being released by his team allowed him to kind of be a free agent pretty early in terms of, just generally speaking, opening up all of free agency next week, most likely, is when we'll see a lot more dominoes fall. But overall, again, Los Angeles Rams bringing in Devante Adams. If I'm being honest with you guys, I would not have predicted this. I was actually going to come on this video. We're going to talk a little bit about DK Metcalf. That was kind of the original plan here. Talk about DK, talk about the possibility of trading for DK, but also giving realistic options. Going out, trading Cooper Kupp, and signing like a Darius Slayton. That was literally what the video was going to be about today. Yet, the Rams go ahead, show their aggression, and they bring in Devante Adams. Again, more than $20 million per year. You see this Ian Rappaport post. It's official. The Rams bringing in Devante Adams. I can kind of look here on Twitter. I'm trying to see some more updates. We have Cam DeSilva tweeting it. Big splash alert. Rams getting Devante Adams 2-year contract. But as of right now, that's kind of all we're hearing about this situation. I'm sure we'll hear more as the days move on and how this kind of came through fruition. Even though we expected, if it was going to be Devante Adams, a lot of people expected Devante Adams to follow either Derek Carr, wherever Derek Carr goes, as he may not be the starter in New Orleans, or follow Aaron Rodgers, wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, whether that's New York or wherever else, speaking for the Giants, not for the Jets. But Devante Adams, I guess he wanted to come play on the West Coast, wanted to come play with the Rams, wanted to come play with Sean McVay. Wow. What a big signing for the Rams. And honestly, just really a smart move. Again, we're talking about Puka Nacua, a guy who can play in the slot, a guy who can kind of run those short yardage routes, but you're talking about a big body receiver that, let's be real, Matthew Stafford is used to playing with. The last few years, he has not had that. Yes, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are great receivers in their own right, but the Megatron style type of Devante Adams type of receiver, the 50-50 ball, go up and get it, he's always open kind of guy. Matthew Stafford hasn't really played with a guy like that since his days in Detroit with Megatron. So Matthew Stafford, I'm sure, is a happy player right now for the Rams, the entire Rams organization. Huge splash in free agency, and it goes to show, right? I've been talking about myself, right, from my perspective. Maybe if the Rams are ready to move on and rebuild and be the young team that's kind of ready to grow with a young quarterback, that's not the case. They felt like, maybe like a lot of fans felt after that game versus Philadelphia, they're that close to winning again. They can still compete now with Stafford. That's put him in a position to win, solidify that offensive line, signing Alaric Jackson. So keep the offensive line intact. Maybe they can build more chemistry together and more cohesion together for next season. keep Kyren Williams, right? You have Blake Corum coming back as a backup receiver. You have Puka Nacua ready to go into year 3. Let's add another receiver to this room. Maybe add a tight end next, or you trust Tyler Higbee to be healthy. I don't really know where that route's going to go. But overall, the Rams signing Devante Adams, incredible, huge breaking news. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comments down below. Give me like a scale 1 to 10. How hype are you guys for the Rams signing Devante Adams? By the way, Devante Adams, number 17 typically. I know Puka Nacua is not giving that number up. So what number does Devante Adams wear with the Rams? Hit the comments down below with your guesses. But yeah, I mean, it kind of makes some sense too, right? We're talking about Devante Adams. I mean, I'm trying to look up some more news here, but Devante Adams also a player that, from the California area, from Fresno State, right? Playing from his college football days. And so I think, maybe it's something that he wants to be, somewhere he wants to be comfortable with, a quarterback that's a good quarterback, someone he could trust to not put him in harm's way. Remember, we've seen those videos with him and Jimmy Garoppolo. And so, hey, by the way, maybe a possible reconnection there with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know how excited Devante Adams will be about that prospect, but if the Rams still sign Jimmy Garoppolo, there could be a nice little reunion for those two. But overall, yeah, that's it. Rams signed Devante Adams. That's kind of all I have to say about that situation. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section down below. We can talk about the other stories that I had here, I guess. One other player I had was, let's be real. Again, this was me coming from the perspective of maybe we try to get DK Metcalf, but let's be more realistic. Let's talk about some more realistic options. And one realistic option that's still available, I mean, maybe you're going to move on from like the idea of like a Darius Slayton, which actually maybe could still be an option out there for you, like as a receiver 3. But overall, you're not going to really look for a receiver now. I think the Rams feel like they're probably pretty set in terms of how much money they've spent on the receiver room now. But we're talking more on the defensive side of the football. If I can make sure I pick it up here, and what better player could the Rams ask for than a veteran player who played for the Rams in the past? Von Miller has officially been cut from the Buffalo Bills. Would you be interested in bringing a guy like Von Miller into the room? Now, you're not expecting Von Miller to be the Von Miller of old. He's going to be 36 years of age by the time next season starts. If he still wants to play football, if he can kind of stay the course in terms of his off-the-field issues. For those who don't remember, he's had some off-the-field issues with, domestic violence issues, and at least reports of that going down, and him having to post bond for a situation actually as of last year. So not the most ideal situations off the field for Von Miller. I hope he's okay mentally and ready to play again. If he's still ready to play, I think this is something the Rams should explore. Again, we talked about you can't have enough pass rushers in the NFL. You have 4, and one of those guys is an older but yet still pretty good player in Von Miller. I kind of like the idea if I'm coming from the Rams perspective. Here's just a screenshot showing the NFL talking about Von Miller being released by the Buffalo Bills. Very, very intriguing there. Sorry, I'm reading some tweets on the side here, try to see if we can get any more updates in terms of what's going on with the Rams and Devante Adams. But yeah, Von Miller, right? This would be an interesting route for the Rams to take. A 36-year-old edge rusher to be kind of just a veteran leader to help these young defensive ends learn how to be a professional in the NFL, but also a guy who can play for you, who can get some snaps in, especially on third downs, right? Pass rushing downs. You just throw him in here every now and then, mix him in the lineup as a depth piece kind of at this point in his career. I think it could be an interesting signing for the Rams. Von Miller only played 8 games for the Rams. Last time he played with the Rams, only 1 year, right, of his career. But I think he was a beloved player, right, from a lot of fans. And I think overall it could be something that he can still bring some talent to the table, right? I mean, looking at his stats from last season alone, 13 games played last year, so he's healthy enough to play most of the season last year, and then he had 6 sacks on the year, 13 solo tackles. So overall, right, you're talking about a guy 100 and almost 30 sacks in his career, just an incredible career for Von Miller. But you're talking about a guy who can still get you 6 sacks, right? Why not sign a cheap, $2-3 million contract for a guy like Von Miller, fully guaranteed? Let's see what he can do with some incentives tacked onto it to see if we can add some more, again, veteran leadership, veteran perspective from a guy like Von Miller. I would be interested in the Rams bringing in a guy like Von Miller. You guys let me know how you guys feel about it. I did see a tweet related to Cooper Kupp as Cameron DeSilva just kind of said, Rams to Cooper Kupp, we don't want to pay a 32-year-old $30 million. Rams to Devante Adams, welcome aboard. Again, I do want to kind of emphasize that real quick, moving off from the Von Miller stuff. That is one kind of thing I'm kind of curious about. I get it. A lot of fans in the comments have been saying about Cooper Kupp that he's been brittle, he's been injury prone, always dealing with some kind of nagging injury. And I kind of agree with that point. But at the same time, signing a 32-year-old receiver is still kind of concerning regardless of who that receiver is. And we're talking about Devante Adams, who had a pretty solid year last year, still went over 1,000 yards after he only, I think, played about 14 games of the season. And he was traded in the middle of it, right? And still went over 1,000 yards. So Devante Adams is still a very, very capable receiver. Do not get me wrong. But I think Cooper Kupp as well in his own right is also a pretty capable receiver. I mean, he still posted, 700 yards last year? Let me just triple check that that's right. Cooper Kupp with his stats. But yeah, I'm just, if you're Cooper Kupp, and you're looking at this from his perspective, a lot of people in the comments on my last video were saying, yeah, 710 yards last year in just 12 games. So two less games played than Devante Adams, and pretty decent amount of yards. I'm not saying that I was arguing and pushing for the Rams to keep Cooper Kupp over signing a guy like Devante Adams. I just think it must be more of a gut punch. And a lot of people in the comments have been saying, yeah, man, it's football. It is what it is. Move on. And I get it. I agree with you 100%, but it must sting for Cooper Kupp. We just read that article from him. So he even put out an article, right, about how he feels about the situation, about how it all went down in Los Angeles with him and the Rams. It does suck, and this must be another kind of just another sting, stab in the back, if you will, for Cooper Kupp on his way out the door. Before he's even off the roster, the Rams already bringing in another receiver who's aging just as much as Cooper Kupp is on the field, though production-wise. Again, Devante Adams still big body receiver, different play style, more physical receiver. Still shows a lot of game left in him, and also his situation last year with the Jets and the Raiders was not necessarily the best of situations, yet he still got over 1,000 yards. So I think the Rams are looking at it from that perspective. Overall, I think many people would say Devante Adams is probably a better receiver than Cooper Kupp at this point in their careers. And again, different style of receiver. He may complement Puka Nacua a little bit better than what Cooper Kupp was doing this past season. So it allows you to be a little more versatile, allows you to be a little bit different on the offensive side of the ball. The Rams, Devante Adams, that's official. Man, that's crazy time to be a Rams fans right now. As I'm looking up any other updates, we'll talk about the trivia of the day here. As if you guys missed the last episode trivia of the day, don't worry about it. We didn't have that many people play along, but I'll pull it up just in case so you guys can see what it was. Here is the trivia of the day for today. Which of the following running backs holds the Super Bowl single game record for rushing attempts with 38? Give your guesses down below. Here is the multiple choice options. It was A, Terrell Davis. Was it B, John Riggins? Was it C, Franco Harris? Or was it D, Emmitt Smith? Which of those running backs holds the Super Bowl single game record for rushing attempts with 38? That's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. Put your trivia guesses down below so we can talk about on the next episode. Devante Adams, you are a Los Angeles Ram. Incredible news today. That's going to do it for me on today's episode. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I am out.